Hi everyone, and welcome to the first part of the DMC2 CNC training series. This series is meant to teach you everything about CNC machining that you'd need to know regarding the DMC2 CNC machine, especially if you don't have any prior machining experience. I'm going to go over things from the very basics, like understanding what CNC machines are, what they do, what tools they use, and then get into the technical details on generating CAM and G-code to actually use the DMC2 properly, with some real machining examples. In this introduction video, I'm going to briefly touch on the very basics and definitions of machining, and then evaluate where the DMC2 fits in the vast world of manufacturing. Every type of machine is different and serves a different role, and the DMC2 has its own unique place as well. So to start off with, the term machining is given to a particular area of manufacturing that deals with forming materials into desired shapes using machines that cut away or subtract smaller pieces from the starting material. Similar to carving, but with more powerful, precise, and controlled tools or machines. These types of machines use a sharp cutting tool to scrape and shear away small amounts of material at a time until the desired amount and shape is left. Probably the most common two types of these machines is a mill and a lathe. A typical mill works by spinning a sharp cutting tool and forcing it through a piece of material in 3 different axes to remove sections of material that come into contact with the cutting tool. A lathe, on the other hand, spins the entire work material, while the stationary cutting tool removes a small strip of material from the diameter. You can see immediately that a mill is designed to manufacture more square-like parts with 90-degree walls, whereas a lathe is more suited to round parts and cutting out round features. Of course, this is just the tip of the iceberg, and many parts require multiple setups on different machines to achieve a final complex finished part, or even specialty machines that can manipulate more axes at once to achieve complex cuts, such as a 5-axis CNC. Mills, lathes, and other machines exist as manual machines, where an operator controls handles, wheels, or levers on the machine to carefully perform the desired cut. A CNC, however, is the exact same machine, but controlled by electronics rather than a human operator. CNC stands for Computer Numeric Control, which, as the name implies, the machine is computer controlled. On a CNC machine, the operator needs to use specialized software to generate toolpath files known as G-code, which are then sent to the machine controller. You can think of G-code as the language that CNC machines read and understand to execute movement. The CNC controller takes these G-code files and reads them line by line and instructs the machine's motors to move all the axes as desired. Both CNC and manual machines have their pros and cons, but generally a CNC machine allows for much faster, efficient, and precise manufacturing of parts, especially in large quantities. Obviously, the added computer capabilities add to the overall cost of the machine and to the skills that are required to operate it. Other machines that are common in machine shops are grinders, shapers, EDMs, and more complex mills and lathes, such as 5-axis CNC mills that have additional axes of rotation to get access to more faces of the workpiece, and live tool lathes that can hold milling tools in the lathe and do a combination of milling and turning in one setup. As you'd imagine, the more large and complex a machine is, the more intricate and large parts it can make, and the more expensive the machine itself is. So where does the DMC2 fit in? By definition, the DMC2 is a 3-axis CNC machine. This means it can manipulate its cutting tool in 3 axes, being the X, the Y, and the Z. A 3-axis CNC can only perform cutting operations from the top side of parts held in the machine, which is something to keep in mind when designing parts and planning how you'll hold them, and if they can be flipped on their sides to do multiple operations if needed. The DMC2 has an ER20 collet built into its spindle, which means you can hold round tool shafts as large as 13 mm in diameter, or about half an inch. The DMC2 has a 3 horsepower 24,000 RPM spindle, and what this basically means to you is that the machine is designed for lots of small, fast cuts with small tools, rather than large, slower cuts with larger diameter tools. This accomplishes the same end result of removing material, but is a different strategy better suited for smaller machines. You need to keep this in mind as you program CAM operations, because the deeper you push an end mill through material, the stiffer the machine needs to be to ensure that there isn't any deflection, and the more torque is needed from the spindle. All of this will be explained in detail later on in an upcoming episode in this series, where we look at how to determine correct speeds and feeds on the DMC2. For now, it's important to understand the type of parts that the DMC2 can make. You're limited, of course, by the size of the travel, which is 14 inches in X, 10 inches in Y, and the Z-axis travel of about 6.5 inches, and the Z-axis clearance, which is about 8 inches from the bed to the top inside the machine. This means the machine can reasonably cut about 3.5 inches deep into a pocket with about a 3.5 inch tool sticking out at the maximum. Alternatively, you can design parts that can be flipped and cut from both sides to accomplish deeper pockets and features. Here are some examples of smaller parts made on the DMC2. The machine is very good at cutting aluminum, and good here means that the machine can make use of the spindle power to achieve a high material removal rate with good efficiency and good surface finishes. With steels and harder materials, however, slower cutting surface speeds are usually required, which means you generally need to use smaller diameter tools or lower RPM. This means that you have to run the machine at less than full power sometimes as you use larger diameter tools, and be mindful of not cutting too much material at a time, beyond what the spindle can handle when not being run at full power. So in short, the machine can cut steel and other hard materials well, but at a slower rate than aluminum, and ideally with smaller diameter tools. Full details can be found in the DMC2 Speeds and Feeds video, which is not a part of this series but will be recapped in a future episode. The DMC2 Speeds and Feeds video shows how hard you can push cutting tools on the machine for as high as possible material removal rates, and serves as a useful starting point for you to get an idea of the maximum cutting parameters you can expect from your DMC2 machine as well. So the last thing I'd like to do in this video is a little case study on some parts similar to what you might find yourself doing. I want to compare the cost of some average CNC parts sent out locally to a machine shop versus doing them on your own on an in-house CNC, so that you can get an idea on real manufacturing pricing and what the DMC2 can save you on manufacturing costs if you're considering getting one for your own projects. I'm using the online tool Xometry.com, where you can upload parts and get instant manufacturing quotes, which is fairly accurate and reasonably priced. So let's say you wanted to make a Lego brick. I have this one here that I designed and is about 20mm by 40mm at the base with a small engraving on the side. This would take 3 operations on a CNC, since it needs to be machined from the top, then flipped to do the bottom, and then flipped again on the side for the light engraving. Putting this in Xometry and setting it to aluminum with a pour tolerance of 0.1mm, we get over $700 for a batch of 10 of these. Legos need to be a much tighter tolerance to properly stick together, so if we adjust that tolerance down to 0.025mm, we're pretty much over $1,000 already. Now, I happen to have also made a few of these on the DMC2 for this demo, and it took under an hour in total for 8 of them, not to mention the tolerances are even tighter than 0.02mm, so the Lego bricks stick together very well. You can see very quickly that, let's say you're a small business or a hobbyist, just a few little CNC machine parts already breaks the bank, and really highlights the benefit of having a powerful desktop CNC in-house. You can upload your own parts yourself and get an idea of what kind of money you can save with the DMC2 on your projects, or even how much money you can make if you're machining and selling a product. So that concludes this short introduction video to CNC machining and the DMC2, and in the next video, we'll dive into the details of cutting tool physics and understanding what's really going on in a cut and how cutting speeds, cutting feed rates, and cutting force plays a role in using a CNC machine and why they're so important to study. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.